Oh dear, not a great night for Arsenal Football Club last night. Out of the Champions League. That one all hurt. So it's time to look ahead to the summer. Which players could come in and change the fortunes for Mikel Arteta? I asked you guys at home on Twitter to send in your suggestions of signings you'd like to see. Maybe some rumours that have been bubbling under the surface. We've got 20 names to go through. Let's get into it. Let's start with a weird one. This is a rumour that has been circulating in Spain. A lot of you at home were suggesting it. It's Antony to Arsenal. Now for me, straight away, I'm putting this in. Nah, he's had a great time of it in Spain. 11 goal involvements. His progressive carry numbers through the roof. His shot creating actions are absolutely flying. He's a cult hero in Betis. The goals he's scoring are screamers. But we've seen it in the Premier League. It doesn't work. It doesn't have the same effectiveness, that one-footedness. Defenders are too physically strong, it feels like, in this league for Antony's style of play. I don't see a world in which Arsenal move for Antony to be the understudy to Saka. I mean, what? What about Bilal El Khanous, another transfer rumour that popped up quite heavily last week, actually, and he's certainly a really talented youngster, still only 20 years old. He's played in a struggling Leicester side, put up some great creative numbers, looks very tidy in possession, got a great ability to take the ball on the back foot and play fast through the lines. But when I look at how Arsenal are going to do business this summer, I don't see it being 20-year-olds from Leicester that have 2 or 3 years worth of development in them. I think for me, it would just be confusing to see him end up at Arsenal. From a personal development perspective as well, I totally feel like there's a club in between Leicester and Arsenal. I don't think he would go in there and be a star. I don't think he'd get many minutes there. They've got a lot of young talent in attacking midfield areas. Fabio Vieira still to come back. Nah. What about PSG's very own Bradley Barcola? An amazing talent. Seriously, he would be incredibly high on my list. Is there a way you can convince him to leave PSG though? I'm not too sure. He feels like one of the faces of the future of the project. Still so young, 22 years old, and when you stack him up alongside Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, that front four for 3 roles, I like the rotation, I like the different options that they give you. They've obviously lent way more into that sort of player, haven't they, PSG, under Luis Campos, the likes of Doué, the likes of Barcola. I don't think we'll see them go back to the previous way of working where they were trying to sign your Messis, or your Zlatans, or your Neymars. But let's say he does kick up a fuss and he wants the nailed-on starting spot, which isn't going to happen necessarily at PSG with the quality of that front three. He's not going to be the first name on the team sheet, despite having ridiculous quality. We look at his dribble numbers, his chance creation numbers, his finishing ability. It's all really, really special. I'm still leaning towards unrealistic, though, to convince him to leave that PSG project now. I don't know. Another player I think I would put in unrealistic is Jules Kounde. Now, he's been linked mainly because of the Barcelona financial troubles. We are talking about this season, maybe the best right back in world football. Totally complete package under Hansi Flick. Super powerful defensively, but also able to transfer that power into the offense, move the ball up the pitch beautifully, contribute with goals as we've seen in finals. He's such a well-rounded individual. I think there was probably 12 months of him being obtainable before Flick. Now, no chance. We've got to spend a bit of time talking about Dean Howson because David Ornstein, extremely reliable, has confirmed that Arsenal are one of the 3 Premier League clubs that want to sign him alongside Chelsea and Liverpool. And I think Newcastle were involved as well. But Arsenal on the table. If William Saliba does go to Real Madrid, then obviously you move for Howson. But do we honestly see Saliba going to Madrid this summer? I just don't. I still think he'll give them at least 1 more year. It's the classic Real Madrid scenario of trying to run a player's contract down as close as they possibly can to get him. We've seen it with Trent, really. I think they'll probably try and do the same with Saliba. I don't think Saliba will leave Arsenal this summer. So therefore, there's no spot for Howson alongside Gabriel and Saliba in a starting back 4. This is the best defensive unit in the Premier League. Does he come in and disrupt those back 2? I don't think he does. Do they need to spend an outlay of £50 million on a backup centre-back when they've got the likes of Calafiori you can play on the left side of the back 4? I don't think they do. This would be a really good move, but because of Saliba and Gabriel's presence and the need to spend money in forward areas, I'm not going to put it in perfect. Let's talk about Antoine Semenyo, who could offer an option on the left-hand side, potentially, as an upgrade to Gabriel Martinelli. Well, how much of an upgrade would he be? He's certainly the most two-footed forward in the Premier League. No forward has taken more shots in the league than Antoine Semenyo this season, and it's a 56 to 44% split, right foot to left foot. So two-footed, really fast, very powerful in his ball carrying style, gets really good shots off, like he's a great ball striker. But with Huijsen on the table potentially leaving, Gyokeres potentially leaving Bournemouth as well, they can ask for the moon for Antoine Semenyo. He simply doesn't need to leave this summer. Again, I think this would be a good move, but if we're talking 70, 75 million pound fees, that's eye-watering stuff. What about Dusan Vlahovic? Is somebody going to take a risk on Dusan this summer? Is that finally going to happen? He's entered the final 2 years of his contract. The rumours are Juventus want to cut their losses and allow him to leave. When he first left Fiorentina, we were talking about one of the next best strikers. We were saying, oh, this guy's going to become an elite level number 9. I don't feel like it's quite happened. He's still taking loads of shots. He's in the top 15% of strikers in Europe for the volume of shots he takes, which is impressive. His XG still looks good, but he's underperformed his XG this season. The goal volume simply hasn't been there, and Juventus fans, I think, would more happily part ways. But is he the best number 9 option for Arsenal? We could talk until we're blue in the face about Alexander Isak, and I'm sure the comments at home are screaming, why is Isak not on this list? He's not on this list because, frankly, it's not going to happen. Newcastle are likely to get Champions League football. Arsenal are not going to spend £150 million on Isak. If Isak was on here, he would be going in that unrealistic column. Maybe I should have had him. Just pretend he's there in unrealistic. As for Dusan Vlahovic, I'm saying nah. I think the ship has sailed here. I would be really surprised to see him join Arsenal, and I think most Arsenal fans would agree. If you disagree and you're an Arsenal fan that's watching this and you want Vlahovic, let me know why in the comments below. I'm genuinely interested. Let's talk a little bit about Rodrygo, because there are rumours that he wants to leave the club. He could well be on his way out for about €100 million. Hasn't got enough game time. Obviously, you've seen Vinicius, Mbappe, Bellingham sort of go ahead of him in the pecking order at Real Madrid in forward areas, and apparently he's not happy about it. But would it be a good signing for Arsenal? And where would he play? First and foremost, he's played a lot of football on that right-hand side. 65% of his minutes in a Real Madrid shirt have come as a right winger. That wouldn't happen at Arsenal because he wouldn't go in there as a deputy to Bukayo Saka. I just can't see that on any level. And the fact that he's 24 years old now means he warrants and deserves a starting spot. If he's going to leave Real Madrid, it's going to be as a true starter. So could he offer an option on the left-hand side? Well, he is right-footed, so he could invert quite nicely. His goal output has been okay this year, 6 goals, 5 assists, and he's never really been a goal scorer. Only once in his La Liga career, since joining Real Madrid, has he scored over 10 league goals. So he's more of a creator. He picks up really nice areas and slips great balls through, a really good deliverer of crosses as well. Could he offer an option in that sense? More of the creative foil to Saka's effectiveness. So I'm going to say this is a good move. If they could get him for the right fee and could utilise him on that left-hand side, it would be a huge weapon in their armoury. His experience at the elite level in the Champions League and domestically fighting for title after title would be a valuable asset for Arsenal, in my opinion, but it would have to be the right fee, and I just don't see that happening. I think the fee would be too rich for Arsenal this summer. How about the player that nearly joined Arsenal last summer? Had his bags packed, didn't he? It never ended up materialising, but a backup to Raya, Joan Garcia. And for me, this is a perfect signing for Arsenal. Fits the mould beautifully. He could come in as the backup, compete with David Raya for that number 1 spot, but the main reason I've got him in here is the fact he has that €25 million release clause. He has been, for my money, the best goalkeeper in La Liga this summer. It's going to be a difficult battle to convince him to come to Arsenal over other clubs where he would go and be the number 1. And I think there will be plenty of elite sides that want a goalkeeper with his post-shot expected goals numbers. This is a goalkeeper who's put up the most saves in La Liga. Really, really impressive, top to bottom goalkeeper. I just love the idea of him as the backup there. How about Kingsley Coman? Nah, I don't see it, man. I'm not seeing it. Given his age and his injury record, more importantly, are Arsenal going to go out and spend on Kingsley Coman? He started 20 plus games in a Bundesliga season once in the last 9 years. That would be a worry to translate to the physicality of the Premier League in my book. It's not going to be easy for him. Arsenal will have options in that left wing slot that are younger and would definitely demand a lower wage. I think he's likely to sign a new contract at Bayern Munich. If not, he'll eventually leave on a free, but now, this summer, I would be really shocked. How about the rumours linking Nico Williams to the club? They just won't go away, will they? Clearly, Mikel Arteta is a huge fan. He has that £50 million buyout clause. He's still just 22 years old. His direct dribbling style is a joy to watch in terms of take-ons. He is in the top 3% of European wide men. With the eye test, his actual technical ability is fabulous in tight spaces. We saw that at Euros. We've seen it again this season with Bilbao. I love watching him. 10 goal involvements, maybe on the low side for the wage he's reportedly demanding of 300,000 plus a week. The numbers haven't quite been there, just from a pure goal and assist standpoint, but from an aesthetic standpoint, it would be a great watch. Him in an Arsenal shirt would be a lot of fun. I'm going to put him in good move, but I think there's a winger coming up I would probably go for ahead of him. Milos Kerkez. Where's that rumour come from? I think this would be confusing. Arsenal stocked in that left-back slot. Calafiori can play there. Miles Skelly has had a huge breakthrough campaign. Yes, he might have a future in midfield, but he's got a huge future ahead of him right now at left-back. I would just stick it out with him in there. Kerkez is going to go Liverpool. The fee seems right. The fit is there. The role as a starter every week is there at Liverpool. It doesn't feel that way at Arsenal. I'm confused as to why he is in here. Andre Santos, who is having an unbelievable season at Strasbourg. This sort of box-to-box role that Liam Rossini has got him playing in is really working for him. He kind of came in as more of a 6, but he scored 9 goals now in that box-to-box position. Looks so calm and composed on the ball for a 21-year-old, but this is unrealistic. He's a Chelsea player. He's under an extremely long contract. Why would Chelsea sell him to Arsenal? We're talking about one of the hottest young midfield talents in Ligue 1 this season. The idea of him not returning to Chelsea would blow me away. And then to allow him to go to Arsenal? Nah, it's unrealistic. Could Arda Guler get a move this summer? I don't think so. The main reason is that Carlo Ancelotti is going to leave the club, and I expect the new coach who comes in and arrives will give Arda Güler more minutes in La Liga. 900 domestic league minutes this season. Nowhere near enough for a player of his quality. In that limited time frame, he's put up 7 goal involvements. Anybody who watched his performance against Celta Vigo recently, oh, mamma mia, this boy can play. On the ball, in tight spaces, he's just got it. His first touch, ball striking, the goal is outrageous, and he works really hard off the ball. I think he could be a really good foil to a Bellingham and Vinicius front two. If he's allowed to get on the pitch more, and I truly believe Xabi Alonso will see that in him and get him more minutes. So for me right now, it's unrealistic he leaves Madrid. Do you know what? While I was listening to myself make that argument, I actually think he might like Rodrygo as well. Xabi Alonso, a bit more doggedness off the ball. I could see those minutes climbing again for him. The goal involvement's climbing if Alonso goes there. The next coach, because we don't know who it is yet, means that I'm going to drop both of the Real Madrid boys into unrealistic, because he might come in and be like, you're my guy. So I don't see how I can have them in good move right now. How about Jarell Hato, who is still only 19? 19. We've been linking him to the Premier League for what feels like an eternity. Good season at Ajax. He's managed to start 27 games despite his young age. Again, would this not be really confusing to you guys, though? Left-footed, left-back come left-sided centre-back. It's just a younger Calafiori kind of role. Calafiori is going to return and be that guy, isn't he? A potential starter at left-back who can offer cover at centre-back. They've also got Miles Skelly in the left-back role. Kivior as a left-sided centre-back. Gabriel was the starting left-sided centre-back. I just don't think they need another left-sided defender, if I'm truly honest. How about Jamie Gittens? This rumour really took flight when a Dortmund-based news outlet said that they are in advanced talks to sign him for between 50 and 60 million pounds, which would be a shock to a lot of people, I think. He's got a background in England, so assimilating back would be a much more comfortable prospect. He's amazing on the ball. His dribbling ability is arguably the best right now of any winger in Europe. He's certainly put up more dribbles than any winger in Europe in 2025. In 1v1 situations, if he stands you up, you're dead. However, he's a very raw talent. He's quite diminutive in his frame. I think he's 5'8" or so. His XG and his expected assists as well, right down there. They're very low. They're in the bottom 15% of European wingers. He's still got a lot of crafting to do to his game. And I think that's quite telling when you look at the XG he's produced this season. He's running at 3 XG this season. He's scored 8 goals from those 3, so he's performing above and beyond, but he's not picking up huge chances. He's not really a goal-scoring winger, Jamie Gittens, at least when I've watched him. That's not the sense I've got from his game, and I feel like that is something that Arsenal want to add to that wide area. More goals from the left-hand side to support the volume of goals Saka has got from the right-hand side. I would say good move. It would certainly be an exciting move. It'd be a bit like a Nico Williams. Toss of a coin for me between these two guys. Great dribblers, but not necessarily goal scorers yet. Still very young. Really good options though. The man I'm going to put forward in my perfect category on that left-hand side is going to be Ademola Lookman. I'm seriously surprised more clubs are not in for Lookman. The numbers are there. The eye test is there. He works incredibly hard off the ball. He's played in a 3 at the back, a 4 at the back. We can talk until we're blue in the face about Gasperini's fool's gold. How many players exit Atalanta and are actually that good? Is it just the system? I truly believe Lookman will be one of the guys who exits Atalanta and is still that good. Across the last 3 seasons, he's got 19 goal involvements, 18 goal involvements, 19 goal involvements. This season, yet again, 14 goals. Really impressive numbers in Serie A. He's done the business in major moments in European finals. He's taken the game by the scruff of the neck, dominated sides that are really good, like a Leverkusen, beaten them down. His finishing is great. He's super physical. He's played in England, speaks English, and he's had the big bust-up earlier in the summer with Gasperini. I think he'll leave for a very reasonable fee, potentially a fee around this number. But at 27 years old, he's entering his prime, and you're seeing that, aren't you? In the numbers and in the eye test. He's great fun to watch. He's in the top 1% of European wingers. Shot creating actions, expected goals, expected assists, goal volume. He's right up there across the last 3 seasons. This is a goal-scoring wide man who works hard and is skillful with it. I love Lookman to Arsenal. Should we talk Victor Gyokeres, who seems to be Andrea Berta's number 1 selection for the number 9 role? Clearly, Arsenal are going to sign a striker this summer. Do we agree? Do we like Victor Gyokeres for this role? At Sporting, the goal numbers are absolutely ridiculous. 38 goals in Liga NOS alone this season. It's a massive jump on last season. His XG has taken a massive jump on last season. 28 to 22 last campaign. His goal-scoring exploits can't be overlooked. There are some question marks, a huge volume of penalties in there. A huge volume of those goals have come against teams in the bottom half of the Portuguese league. I know that people talk about him being this counter-attacking striker who needs space to run into. He wants to get down the channels. He wants to abuse teams in behind. And that's not necessarily what Arsenal face on a week-by-week basis. It might be low blocks, certainly mid-blocks. And how does Gyokeres deal with that? I don't care, man. I truly believe if he's available for the reported 60 million euros, he will bang at Arsenal. The tactical setup Arteta has, even the likes of Marino and Havertz are scoring goals into the double figures. Gyokeres will get on the end of chances. He's a physical presence. He would be my number 1. He just would be at that fee. Okay, this is where we're going to start to go a bit mad, because I still think Arsenal need an attacking midfield option. I know that Martin Odegaard is the club captain, but the guy needs to take a break occasionally. There's huge pressure on him to perform. His numbers this season have taken a real step back. The injury and the surgery clearly have hurt him a little bit in the way he wants to play. And that's the reason I think Xavi Simons would be a perfect option for the Gunners right now. Given he only joined Leipzig in January, it's a bit weird because he only signed that 2-year contract with the club. So clearly they kind of bought him to sell him. So they're going to want in and around the money they paid. A reported 80 million euros is what they're after. I would be really tempted to pay that. He's had major injury problems this season, but has still been a huge contributor on a really fluctuating Leipzig side. They've been nowhere near their best. He's only played, I think, 23 games in the Bundesliga, 15 goal involvements. This is a player who could play alongside Martin Odegaard. He could play out wide if they needed cover there. He could also play instead of Odegaard if you wanted to take him out of the limelight for a little bit. And again, goals, assists, unbelievable in tight spaces. What I'm looking at with Lookman, goal scorer, Gyokeres, goal scorer, Xavi Simons adding an extra layer of creativity to the midfield to allow them to play in a different way. One game it might be Xavi Simons, Ødegaard, Rice. The next it might be Ødegaard, Rice, Zubimendi, Simons off the left. Like, there's just so many options being created when I look at Xavi Simons. I just think somebody's going to get a world beater if they sign him. Second to last then, we've got Martin Zubimendi. He's basically done, isn't he? Perfect for that deep lying role. Declan Rice needs to be freed up. I think Thomas Partey is going to get the contract extension. Jorginho is leaving to go to Brazil. If you think to take Jorginho out of the squad, replace him with Zubimendi, wow, it feels like a big upgrade. Physically, really good in the first phase at picking the ball up and sliding it through the lines. An underrated duel winner. Sort of Rodri levels of duel winning numbers. If you look at Rodri's time in La Liga, they sort of marry up quite nicely with Zubimendi. So he's actually underrated aerially, underrated as a ground duel winner. Great on the ball. To be able to pinch him off the likes of Liverpool, Real Madrid is a huge win for Arteta. The final name then is Benjamin Sesko. I would put him straight into good move. Very young still, has the physical presence that would suit the Premier League at 6'5", an amazing array of finishing, a great ball striker, but still quite raw. There are a lot of holes to Benjamin Sesko's game that I think Mikel Arteta could and would improve. The issue for me is that he would cost more than Gyokeres. And I just think Arsenal are at that stage now where they're ready for a plug-and-play number 9 to get him over the hill. Now, in the long run, that might end up being Sesko has a higher ceiling than Gyokeres. I'm not going to argue that right now. But right now, Arsenal are this close to Premier League titles and Champions League titles. Let's not talk about 5 years right now. Let's talk about winning it now. Okay, so that was my list of Arsenal signings this coming summer. What did you think of it? If you're an Arsenal fan, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you later. Goodbye.